Live your best life. Welcome to the Power Podcast. Our mission is to share all things health, fitness, and wellness. I'm your host, Renee, and I want to empower you to become the best version of yourself. Welcome to the show, everyone, and I would love to welcome a very special guest who is actually, he's been my coach, my mentor, and a huge influence in my life. And I have on the show with me today, Kman, aka Kerry, but we call him Kman. How are you, Kman?
Renee woman, how you going, Renee? Power fit Renee.
I'm amazing, thank you.
You got the power, girl power.
You bloody do. And that's what I want to encourage all my listeners to have as well.
Go, girl.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know time is so precious, so I appreciate you coming on today and having a chat with me. But before we get into the nitty gritty, because this is a get to the point kind of podcast, but I want to talk about a bit about you first, where you began, how you started off in the personal training industry. Well, how you actually started the personal training industry as the founder of the PT.
I don't look that old, do I?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Have you got the soft lens on?
Of course. We all love a bit of soft lens from time to time.
Of course, absolutely.
So let's talk about you. What's your history? What's your background? How did you start? And what sparked the passion for you?
Oh, well, I guess all my life I've always, since a little kid, a little bambino, I've always been into sport and training and fitness, and I didn't really take too much to school. So going into class was like rest intervals for going back out into the sports playground. and did lots of all the sports as a young kid does. Obviously, long term, my main activity was martial arts, but I did all the football and all that. And you're coming to the end of school, and people putting this pressure on you about making a decision about what are you going to do for the rest of your life. You're going to go to university and all that stuff. And I had no idea, because nothing that I was really good at academically, even though I was really good at it, didn't really interest me.
Yeah.
I was very good at accounting, very good at economics. I got the prize for it. It's not because I worked hard, because my mind is just wired that way, maybe. But I had no interest in going down those paths, even though they were the obvious choices, and would become very successful. But I may have been also very successfully unhappy doing what I didn't really like. So I got some good wise words from my uncle, Uncle Alan, and he said, okay, man, do what you love. You never have to work another day in your life. And the only thing I loved was sport, fitness, and training. And the second half of my last year of school, I was always going to the gym. So I thought, if I'm going to go to the gym all the time, I might as well get paid to go. But that was back in the early 80s. So there wasn't really much of an industry or profession. I used to go to Bob's bodybuilding gym, and aerobics was just starting, and there's no big facilities and the 24-hour gyms and the personal training, the boot, none of that existed. It was just this bodybuilders and powerlifters. So there's no real opportunities there. But I knew that if I did what I love, I'd always find a way to make money out of it. And even though I may not make as much as I would have in other professions, at least I'd be happy doing what I love. Absolutely. So that was my chosen vocation, I suppose. And then from there, obviously, I worked in gyms, went to university. There weren't many degrees in exercise science back then. It was called human movement studies, and they called it the Mickey Mouse degree, because you didn't get a job at the end of it, because who would employ you? There's no gym instructors or anything like that. Even though I was fortunate to get one of the rare positions as a gym instructor on minimum wage. But I did a degree because I knew that this profession will open up. No reason why, I just had a good feeling. And before you know it, the profession grew. And then I was a part of that pioneering point of those growth in many times, not just me, but other pioneers who was good colleagues of mine. And 39 years later,
here you go.
Here I am chatting to you.
Absolutely. And the really cool thing about, everything that you've done, and we're starting off on minimum wage, working in a gym, to now owning your own business where you actually help personal trainers become personal trainers. So I actually did my fitness diploma through Max, which is the company that Kman co-owns. And it was just the best experience I've ever had. I learned so much. I grew so much. And just a little side note here, if anyone is listening who wants to become a personal trainer, because I do know that some of my audience do talk to me about it often, Max is the place you want to go. And Kman and Rowie and Steve are the coaches that you want to get yourself through any kind of personal training course.
Look, we love what we do, and we do what we love, and that's all we've ever done. So
exactly.
I guess, it's our graduates, we work individually with the graduates ourselves to pass it forward. That's a big part of life, is pass it forward.
Absolutely.
And yes, the college has been in a position where I wasn't so much in the front line, but now we've made it small, personable, quality, connected. So I know all of my graduates, I know where they are, know what they're doing, and I can chat to them like you on a Zoom call,
so
talking
cool.
about helping other people do what they love and have a career that they love.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about you, Kman. I just love what you and Rowie do and what you stand for. Now, there's one thing I really want to talk about today. And that is, now look, we don't have to mention your age, but you're in your 50s, right?
I'm 57.
Yep, 57.
57 years young.
Exactly. Still lifting heavy weights.
Halfway.
No, you got plenty of years. But still lifting heavy weights and still training like a beast.
Yeah, of course. I mean, as soon as you stop training, you start dying, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we should be exercising, and that's why we should be strength training and moving our bodies every day. So
there's nothing constant in life. There's nothing constant. If you have a garden and you leave it, then it will go in the negative. It will grow weeds and deteriorate.
Exactly.
If you maintain it and service and look after it, it will last forever. And your body's the same. If you just leave your body and do nothing with it, it will deteriorate. Exactly. It's just what it does. So therefore, you have to consciously be always tending the garden, your body, your health, mental, physical, and then you can live a great life full of vitality and energy rather than just deteriorating away like you see a lot of old people do.
Exactly. And so because of your physical lifestyle and maintaining that flourishing garden that you have, you're able to still compete in sport, and that is your mixed martial arts, and you're still competing, still winning. Yep, exactly. See, you don't need to be 25 to be competing in sport and winning. You can be 57 competing in sport, taking home the prize and inspiring people while you do it, which is so cool. I just love everything you do. And I actually used to do some training sessions with Kman when he was still in Auckland. And we were doing some bit of boxing and also I loved my sessions.
Good kicks too. You're a good kick. Boom.
Oh yeah. No one will want to mess with me.
Good roundhouse kick.
I miss it so much.
My hands are still bruised from holding the paddle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love it. So with your training over the years, what is it that you've learned in the fitness industry with the kind of exercises that you see people doing? What have you learned to be the most effective?
Well, the most effective are the ones that relate to the natural movement of the body.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we call them, I guess, functional exercises.
Yeah.
We have to be in this world where we're so connected and there's so much noise and opinions and views, and everyone wants to be at the front of the noise. Everyone wants to be the new influencer, I suppose, or the new guru. And so to do that, they can't be saying the same old things. So they keep coming up and making up all these creative things that create a lot of movement and activity. But when you look through the fog and the smoke and the mirrors of it, it's just silliness.
It is.
Because in my 39 years, anatomy and physiology hasn't changed. So people say, I've got a new exercise. It's, so what a new anatomy have we got?
That is so true, though.
Cars have four wheels, and I still got a biceps brachii and a triceps brachii and a quadratus lumborum and a supraspinatus and infraspinatus. So they're all the same. They've been the same, for all my life and for the rest of my life. And the joints are the same, whether it be a hinge joint or a bilateral joint or the ball and socket joint or whatever it might be, or a gliding joint. The joints are the same.
Exactly.
The tendons are the same, the muscles are the same, the movements are the same. And they're designed to move in certain ways. Certain joints are designed in certain ways, whether it be that joint's designed for leverage and speed or load and stability. So if you stick to the basics, you won't have to go back to basics. But people keep wanting to do abnormal things with joints that are not designed for those abnormal things, because they want to impress other people on social media, or it's a party trick, or they want to treat that as a new form of, advanced cutting edge training. But anyone who knows their anatomy and physiology, that's just a circus trick.
Absolutely.
And if you do that on a repetitive way, yes, you might work the muscles doing that exercise, but it's compromising the joints in a repetitive way, causing wear and tear and an unnatural biomechanical movement that will lead to joint degeneration, tendonitis, osteitis, capsulitis, whatever it might be. And I see it all the time. Just the other year or so, a friend of mine was doing all these crazy things, and they're still young. So when you're young, your joints are like rubber, they're durable and they move. But you keep doing that rubber will soon dehydrate, will start to crack and fragment. And before you know it, you got this degenerated joint suffering from rheumatoid or osteoarthritis. And there's so many people I see. One year they're jumping around, swinging around bars like chimpanzees, because as far as I know, I'm a human. I shouldn't be swinging around bars like a chimpanzee, because that's not how my joints are designed. If I made an animal walk like a human, then you'd probably wreck their joints. If you make a human try to perform like an animal, you're going to wreck our joints. And it's not long before they're going to physio or chiropractors, but they always blame something else rather than the activity that they're doing, when they could have done it far more effectively, safely, and efficiently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one thing I really want to try and encourage all of our clients at the studio, but also all the people that I do have, here on my social media and also the podcast. I want to encourage them that these types of exercises that we see people doing are not going to serve them long term. Do they want to be healthy, fit, and strong for the rest of their life? Or do they want to just feel in the moment, I feel like I'm getting stronger, I feel like I'm building muscle just for a short period of their life, realize that, it is actually giving them issues later on, and then they give up exercise altogether? I mean, you must see this a lot as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those exercises are led by the extremists, an extreme example is a poor example. Exactly. And then you have the general population who don't have that training history. And I don't, sometimes, I've got a friend who's now over at the Commonwealth Games wrestling, and to do wrestling, that's a hardcore sport. So a part of their training, they do hardcore things to be prepared for that hardcore activity. But that's justifiable because that's their sport. They're not doing it for general health and fitness. Like, if I want to be fit, lose weight, get into shape, don't go out there and play rugby league, because I'm going to get belted. And yes, I'll get fit, I'll get strong, I'll lose weight, but I'm probably spend most of my time on the sideline injured, because it's a sport. Someone wants to lose weight, you don't go and take up gymnastics.
No.
When you're young, you probably get away with it because you got rubber joints, but most gymnasts in their older age are suffering from arthritis. So Be careful not to, so if I do that extreme activity, I'll get an extreme result. No, you're just going to get an extreme injury.
Yeah. Exactly. Like you say, these extreme things lead to extreme results. Well, poor extreme results, really.
You have a look at, say, I was in a colleague's gym the other day, and there's a person there with a kettlebell, and they're just swinging it above their head, and they're bouncing down. And when I look at an exercise like that, I don't look at the muscles or the weight. I look at, with my X-ray vision, goes all the way through. I can see the skeletal system. I see the bones. I can see the joints, the cartilage. I see the capsule. I see the synovial membrane. I see the ligaments and the tendon. And then the last thing I see is the muscle. Yeah. Because if you wreck those other things, the muscle's not working anyway. No, but everyone trains according to the muscle, not to the limitations of all those underlying soft tissues that support the joints. So I can see their lower back in that full uncontrolled flex position with the long lever with shearing forces through the lower back, causing anterior compression forces and the intervertebral disc pushing the disc, the nucleus pulposus through the annulus fibrosus around the joint towards the back of the spinal cord. I can see the shoulder impingement of the humerus impinging with the acromion process. impinging the supraspinatus tendon and grinding that little tendon away, which is only a small tendon in the glenoid cavity, which is just a shallow cavity, which is designed for mobility, not stability, lifting a weight with a long lever. And I can just see nothing but a future train wreck occurring. And if you ask, what are they doing that exercise? Well, it's not good for weight loss. It's not good for strength. It's not even functional. What part of life do you swing weights above your head? They're just doing it because 5 million other people are doing it. Because 5 million people, there's no saying 5 million people doing a dumb thing doesn't mean it's not a dumb thing.
Exactly. No, exactly.
That's right.
And for those of you who are wondering, everything we're talking about with a kettlebell swing, that's what's going to happen to you. And if that doesn't make sense, then why would you do it? Why would you do it?
If it doesn't make sense, it's probably nonsense, right?
Exactly.
You know, if you're looking at something for the first time, you've never seen it before. So when you see an exercise, and you look at it as if you've never seen it, we call it looking at it through version eyes. And if it looks weird, and it looks awkward, and it looks like, oh, that looks a bit painful, then that's probably a clue, right? Exactly. But because you see everyone else does it,
they'll think, oh,
then it just justifies, well, it must be okay because everyone else is doing it. Well, most of the world aren't necessarily financially wealthy. It doesn't mean you don't follow them.
No, exactly.
Well, they must know what they're doing. No, they don't.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense to me. Especially when, you see, so for example, I've had a few people, because I do a lot of work with Gen Pop. So I've had a few people come in and they've been like, I've been told by the doctor I need to get a stronger core because of my lower back issues. I need to do some core work. I need to come in. The doctor's told me to do some crunches. And I just sit there and I almost want to cry my eyes out, but obviously I don't, because I've got to be professional about it. And I'm like, wow.
The word core is not an anatomical term anyway. I've never heard the word core in 39 years until the last maybe 8 years or so. Yeah. If you look at Grant's Atlas of Anatomy, there's no muscle or joint called core. It's just a trendy made-up term. And if someone mentions core, then ask them this question, name 7 muscles that make up the core, their origin insertions, their actions, and their function. I have no idea what they're talking about. So when you're looking at, when the people are talking about core, they're probably referring more to what we call the axial system of the body, rather than the appendicular system, which is really your torso. And the muscles that support your torso and your girdles onto your torso, well, yes, you're looking at, and they do crunches, which is erectus abdominis, which is the most less effective of the core muscles that actually stabilizes your lower back and puts your pelvis in a proper functional position. The other muscles that are more appropriately designed to stabilize them will be your transverse abdominis, your external medial obliques, your multifidus, your rectus spinae, your quadratus lumborum, and so on. But even focus on the transverse, on the rectus abdominis, which is the least effective, and crunches doesn't even really work those muscles to stabilize your pelvis in the upright position, because you want core stability. The term means you just want full body stability in what position, not laying down on the ground, because what do you need stability laying on the ground? You can't fall down when you're laying down. No, and you can't lift your lower back while you're laying down. Exactly. You need it in the upright position. So if you're going to train all those multiple muscles, you train them in the upright position in a functional movement pattern, rather than laying on the ground doing a crunch, which in a dysfunctional position, causing a curvature or a flexion of the trunk, and the flexion of the lower back is in the main cause of lower back stability. The reason why a lot of people get lower back injury is because they sit all day in this flexed position, which causes constant anterior compression on your intervertebral disc and your lumbar spine that pushes it towards the back, where your spinal cord, over time, it cracks through the annulus fibrosus and starts to cause a prolapsed disc, slipped disc, herniated disc, whatever you want to call it, in that position. And then you get someone on the ground in that position and load it and repetitively. So what you're doing is you're accelerating lower back challenges by doing a crunch.
Exactly.
What crunches do is they crunch your lower back.
Yeah, exactly. I love your wittiness when it comes to anatomy and just explaining exercises. It honestly makes the learning so much fun, and just understanding why we don't need to be spending our time in the gym doing these things, because there is such an effective way to train your body for the least amount of time as well. And that's one thing that people really, really value this day and age. Well, we should anyway, and that is time. So if you had say you only had 20 minutes to do an exercise session, how would you encourage someone to use that 20 minutes as best they possibly can to get the most bang for their buck in that 20 minutes to get the best training session for them?
A strength training session or?
Training session. Yeah.
Well, 20 minutes is a long time, isn't it?
It is. That's what I mean. It's
my session is about 8 minutes.
And Kman is a beast. He is strong. He is fit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. How many times you need to flick a match to light it? Just once, right? If you do it properly.
Yep.
How many times you need to hit a nail into the wood? If you hit it properly once, you don't need to keep hitting it because then you're just going to damage the wood.
Yes.
You know, so when it comes to exercise is a stimulus. You know, so the quality of the stimulus, the greater the physiological reaction, therefore the greater the physiological response, and what we call overcompensation. So if you wanted to, you know, because we're in a time-starved world, and some people got nothing better to do with their life than hang out in the gym for hours, and that's fine. That's how it's a part of their social agenda, and I understand that. I used to be like that when I was young, training very ineffectively. And it's funny that I was communicating with a person just over the strong end. We call it strong end, not weekend. And he just competed in a bodybuilding championship. And he shared his photos, and I shared some photos when I competed, you know, when I was 47. And he said, man, you're so ripped and muscular. What'd you do? And he's quite surprised. I said, well, I trained with a group of mates of mine, and we all got medals in that competition. We did it more for fun.
Yeah.
And he said, we only train weights once a week. We just followed a calorie controlled diet. We didn't do any supplements, and we did a little bit of a high intense cardio, and that was it. And as compared to what most people would do, 2-3 hours in the gym every day, 6 days a week, lots of supplements, lots of walking on the seashore, picking up seashells and all that stuff. Yeah. So look, if you really want to train your whole body, there's basically 3 movement patterns that the body is, you know, performs. It performs obviously a lowering and lifting. People call it a squat, a deadlift. I like to call it a live lift, whether it be a lunge, because all those movements are going to move the hip and hip extension, knee extension, ankle plantar flexion, and then you load them up. And whether you load them in a deadlift, a leg press, which is not very functional, because what part of life you lay on your back and push weight in the air, whether it be a lunge, doesn't really matter. You pick the one that you're comfortable with, that you like to do, because they all work in the same muscles, in the same joint movements, in the same joint actions. And then you basically pick a weight and you do as many as you can. Yeah. And if you can do more than, say, 12, 13, 14, 15, put the weight up. And then just keep putting the weight up when you can do more than 12, 11, or 12, 13, 14, 15, and just maybe do one warm-up set and then do one maximal set to your maximal capacity. Don't stop at 14 if you can do 15. Just keep going till you cannot mentally, physically do any more within your level of comfort. And that's your legs done. Then you may pick a push exercise where you push. It won't be a bench press, a push up, a dip. Same principle. Get a weight, body weight, and do as many as you can. And when you can't do any more, do another one. Yes, because results start when you want to stop.
Yep.
Result starts when you want to stop. And then when you then do a pull movement, whether it be a dumbbell row or a chin up or a cable row or something like that, because that's going to work all your backs and arms, and all those muscles work together. Because even when you're doing a row, you work in your back, or your back latissimus dorsi, and your obviously your rhomboids and your posterior deltoid, but you're also working your long-headed tricep, you're working your biceps, you're working your deltoids, you're working your core, because you have to maintain in the upright position. As you get stronger in those movements, you have to get stronger in the core, because they're all connected. You can't drive your car and use one wheel, not the other 3. They all work together. One gets stronger, they all get stronger. If I'm doing a squat, I'm working my quads and my hamstrings, I'm working my calves, my soleus, the gastrocnemius, all the 3 hamstrings, all the 4 quadriceps, my rectus spinae, my core, and everything else. But most importantly, it's not just the muscles that you're working. When you use movement patterns, you stimulate the most important thing. First of all, you stimulate the nervous system to activate. So the nervous system activates the muscular system, that activates the energy system to provide the energy and nutrients to perform. But most importantly, the most important thing that people would never even talk about is you activate the endocrine system or the hormonal system.
Absolutely.
And it's that hormonal system that activates all the great hormones, the action hormones, your cortisols, your adrenaline, noradrenaline, all of those things.
Those feel good stuff.
All the good stuff, and they're the things that change your body into an anabolic, into an environment of anabolic, to get stronger, to get fitter, to get more functional. Plus, it stimulates not just the muscles, but your brains as well. Because one of the greatest things we now know is the high intensity activity is one of the best things you can do for neurogenesis, by releasing what we call brain-derived neurotropic factor. Rory has done a heap of research on that. It's probably good to have a chat with her just purely on the benefits of exercise and mental health to fight against not just depression and anxiety, but suicide, Parkinson's, dementia, as well as Alzheimer's. It's quite amazing. So those big exercises give you big results in all the systems in the body, rather than doing a little exercise like a bicep curl, where you're only working a little isolated muscle. It has very low effect on the nervous system, low effect on the hormonal system, low effect on the energy system. And all you're basically doing is wearing out the joint with a load through a shearing forces across the elbow joint, which is a hinge joint.
Exactly. Oh, you just make me want to go and train right now. I want to go just a live lift right now.
It's like everything. It's not how much you do, it's how well you do it.
Exactly.
And strength training is about stimulus. It's about stimulating a quality stimulus. And once you stimulate it, if I stick my finger into a 240 volt power point, I don't need to do multiple sets to electrocute myself. I just need to do it once, right? I don't have to go, well, I have to do 4 sets of electrocuting myself. No, just stick it in there, one. You can control the currency and the intensity of the activity by just doing 1 set, maximal weight that is relevant to you. And everyone's different, understand that. What is light for one person is heavy for the other, and vice versa. But if you pick the weights relative to you, and you put your heart and soul into it, and you go to what we call your threshold, your relative intensity, and then next time you come back, you try to do more repetitions, or you put a little bit more weight on, and you go out to the level of strength, what we call optimal strength. When you reach that optimal strength, and I've reached it now, I don't need to be any stronger to do what I do. And I compete at international stage in martial arts, but I don't need to be any stronger because I'm not a powerlifter. I'm a martial artist, so I don't need to be as that high level of strength, because I hit people and throw people rather than lift a heavy bench press or a deadlift.
Yeah, he's got a good
and once you reach that, you just maintain it. It's like when I brush my teeth. I'm not trying to get my teeth better. I'm just trying to maintain my teeth by brushing them every day, and doing it well, and doing it every single day. Now, strength training, the beautiful thing, you don't have to do it every day.
No.
You do it once, twice a week, and that's all you need to do. And the rest of the week, you do other physical activity things that you enjoy.
Like your gardening and whatever it is that you love, running around with your kids, playing soccer, or even rock climbing, hiking, whatever it is you enjoy.
And that's general activity. If you want to get fitter, then you might do some interval training. You find a little hill, hop on your bike, and you go as hard as you can for as long as you can. When you get puff, you stop, slow down, catch your breath, and go again. Okay. Go hard as you can, as fast as you can. When you catch your breath, stop, slow down, catch your breath, go again, and do as many repetitions as you can fit in. It might only be 1, might be 2. One's better than none. Might be 2, might be 3, might be 4. Mix it up with different exercises. But the goal is to get your heart rate up to at least 90% of your capacity, and then you're going to get physiological changes.
Absolutely. It's
mentally and physically.
Mentally is just so important. I have to just say this one thing. I've got these 2 clients that have just started with me. They're 80 years old. And they're just incredible. 2 females, they come together, they're best friends, they train twice a week. And they've been training now for about 8 weeks. And they're like, I just feel so good. The fact that they're coming to the studio together is one thing for the mental health, but the movement that they are doing, I'm just seeing smiles on their faces. I'm seeing just the energy. They've just lit up, and it's so
some of the best results you're going to get are with the more mature.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so much capacity, and the adaptations are more neurological rather than building muscle. But
Absolutely.
the increase their strength quite dramatically. One of the biggest challenges I see when people train the mature and motivated is they wrap them up in too much cotton wool. They train them like they're dead.
I
They
know.
train them like they're made of crystal.
I know.
But a lot of them, by the early, they still have young minds. So you can actually push them far more than what you think, and they're going to get better results out of it. As long as you maintain good form, good technique, and progress, you can actually get some, get them really, really strong.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
lifting little weights that are lighter than their handbags isn't not going to work.
Absolutely not. This one lady I've got, so she's one of the 80-year-olds. She lives on a farm on her own. Husband's long gone, so she's just living her best life. Bought a farm, lifting massive hay bales every single day. So when she's coming into the studio, we're doing, heavy cable rows, and she's just started to be able to do a squat effectively, getting up and down off a chair so amazingly. And I'm getting ready to add some weight to her squat next time she comes. And it's just so fantastic to see that someone that age is putting in effort.
And that's what the body's designed to do.
Absolutely.
The body is designed to move, to lift, to be under pressure, because pressure makes diamonds. The body's not designed to sit.
No.
It's not designed to be sedentary. It's designed to hunt, gather, we're still designed that way physiologically.
Absolutely.
Even mentally, we're still designed that way. And that's probably one of the reasons why the community suffering so much from mental health, because we're not doing what's naturally embedded in our DNA. We've actually been convinced to take it easy, chill out, be sedentary, everything has to be remote. No, we're supposed to go through hardship. Hardship makes you strong.
It builds resilience. Builds resilience, and that's going to help you to push on
mentally.
through life.
Mentally, your body will only go where your mind will allow it. But sometimes the best way to test the mind is to pressure the body.
Absolutely. It's incredible when you see people that are training consistently and training well over a period of time of a year, what actually changes in their life. Not only does their health improve, their income improves, their energy levels improve. So they start doing other things in their life that they never thought they would do. And it all starts with exercise. It really does.
True.
Moving your body, because like you say,
it all starts with the most important thing, which is your home where you live.
Exactly. The only home you're going to have forever, right? You might live in a house for 5 years, but the body that you have, that is your forever home. So we need to be looking after it. We need to be training it right, feeding it right, making sure that we're doing things that the body's made to be doing, like moving more and not sitting at home and dwelling about how shit your life is, like
yeah.
Well, look, it can be amazing.
If you're sitting home thinking your life's shit, well, hop on the treadmill and you feel better after.
Yeah, you do. Movement makes you feel so much better. I remember
one of my good friends, and he used to be my actually supervisor when I did my master's degree in exercise science, and he became a business partner, a very lifelong friend, Professor Robert Newton, and he travels the world doing a presentation on the latest research on the benefits of exercise in medicine. His specialty is the area of cancer, which I won't go into, but it's all positive, by the way. But yeah, the name of his talk is "Medicine is Exercise and Exercise is Medicine."
Yes.
Exercise is the greatest medical intervention you can do to fight disease that has nothing but positive outcomes, mentally, physically. Fights every disease, it cures every disease, and it has no adverse side effects.
Absolutely. So why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we doing it more? People,
people, unfortunately, we've been conditioned to go for a pill rather than go for a run.
Exactly. Imagine if everyone went to, an exercise professional for, if they weren't feeling well, or they're having low energy, or if they had issues with their lower back or whatever, they just went to an exercise professional that taught them how to live a healthy life that was active.
Well, it's amazing. A lot of people will complain about the lower back, but they probably need to lose 20 kilos. And obviously that 20 kilograms, if you put a 20 kilo backpack on me all day long, I'm going to have a lower back problem too.
Exactly. Yeah.
I always remember the story about a guy who went to his doctor, and his doctor diagnosed. I mean, there's a lot of unfortunate diagnosis, because people would many times get defined by the diagnosis, where that doesn't have to be the case. Yeah. And he said, I diagnosed you with clinical depression. So he gave me a script to go to the pharmacy to get some antidepressants. And he walked towards the pharmacy. But as he's walking to the pharmacy, he walked past a sports footwear shop, like an athlete's foot or something. And he looked at the script, he threw it in the bin, he went into the bought himself a pair of runners, and 50 marathons later, he has zero depression, living life to the fullest, going into his 60s.
That gives me goosebumps because it's proof in the pudding.
And I'm not saying you have to run marathons, but I'm just saying is that choose exercise over drugs. If you are on drugs now, then at least transition your way off them. I know my mother-in-law, Mutti, and Rory probably talked to you more about when I first met her. When I first met Rory in the early years, she was 73. She was diagnosed with advanced osteoporosis, and she was on heavy medication, diabetic and heart disease, and you name it. She had pills rattling, and she came in with a walking stick into my home and says, "Yeah, my doctor just gave me the walking stick." And I said, "Well, give me that walking stick," and she's not getting that back. As soon as you do that's the end of your life. So I taught her how to do some basic squats in the kitchen and push-ups on the bench to get her started. And then over time, she progressed to having a personal trainer, and then she'd go to the gym. And over years, her diagnosis for her advanced osteoporosis was she got rid of it. She had slight osteopenia, and she basically removed every pill that she had, and she ended up living to her late 90s.
There you go. How's that?
Exercise that. We moved to the beach. She'd swim. She'd do sprints on soft sand. Imagine seeing an 80-year-old doing soft sand sprinting. So she'd sprint as fast as she could, then she'd start walking, catch her breath. Sprint as fast as she could, then she'd stop walking and catch her breath. She'd do boxing, and that was probably one of the important triggers that got her off all the pills, all the drugs, and to live a healthy, active life. She used to come into the college to talk to the students of how to train the elderly, and don't treat them like elderly, train them like young people, and they'll become younger.
Absolutely. Oh, what an amazing story. That's so cool. It's so cool. It's never too late either. It's always a good time to start. You don't have to wait till Monday. You don't have to wait till next year. You don't have to wait until after the wedding or after the birthday. Start now. As soon as you start, the rest of your life is just you're going to be the healthiest, fittest, strongest, happiest person.
The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago.
Exactly.
The worst time is tomorrow, because there'll always be tomorrow. The second best time is right now. Exactly. So the best time to do something is when you first thought about it, which is in the past. The worst time to do it is procrastinate to tomorrow, because now you're teaching yourself the habit of procrastination. The best time is right now, because as soon as you take action, things start to change.
Your life changes, and boom, you're a happier person with no depression, no mental health.
Instantly, because when you take action, you instantly get some form of hormonal gratification.
Exactly.
I've done something positive in my life.
Yeah.
You always feel better after you brush your teeth.
Yeah, exactly. I've never heard one person say to me, "Oh, I regretted that workout," or "I regretted doing that."
No, of course not. No. The only workouts you regret are the ones you didn't do.
Exactly. And that's what
the only workouts that don't count are the ones that you don't do.
Exactly. So if you've been listening to this podcast today and you're feeling really motivated and inspired to go out there and do something, stand up, do some squats.
And start with 1 minute, start with 2 minutes. I sometimes do my fitness training here, because, I'm in my pajamas. I haven't trained yet. And I'll get down there. I'll do some push-ups and jump squats, push-ups, jump squats, 1 minute, up and down, up and down. You don't have to have the fancy Lululemon outfits and all that stuff. You can train in anything. Exactly. You can train anywhere, do anything. When I used to travel a lot, I used to train in hotel rooms.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You just wherever your body is, you just
I'd mix it up. I'd do a little circuit, and a part of that circuit was doing those big bomb dives onto the bedroom and bouncing when you weren't allowed to as a kid, right?
Exactly.
To make it fun. Have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so much fun when you actually know what you're doing and why, I believe. So I hope everyone that has listened to this podcast today has got some amazing gold nuggets about why we should be training functionally, just smartly, smart training, not trying to do everything else.
Basic quality training, mix it up with an active lifestyle, go and run with the dogs, go and throw, kick some ball with your kids down the park, and run around. Don't just stand there throwing it. Throw it and run after it. Because that's all activity. It all counts. It all counts. And it all counts the attitude too.
It does. Even doing your housework. Next time you drink housework, think, well, actually, this is going to be great. My exercise for today. I'm gonna do my housework. I'm gonna wash my windows because I'm going to feel great afterwards. I'm moving my body.
So you just got to change your approach to it. Rather than seeing it as an inconvenience, see it as an opportunity.
Absolutely.
An opportunity to get outside, get a bit of vitamin D, an opportunity to move your body, an opportunity to connect with the water around you, because we tend to lost the connecting with nature and the world and the sun and the land and all that. We're all into technology and indoors, and we're not supposed to be like that. We're supposed to be roaming the earth, right?
Yeah, totally. We absolutely are. And you're living the best life right now in amongst all the nature where you are, surrounded by snowy mountain tops.
I'm down here on 20 acres surrounded by snow-capped mountains. Rory spends most of her time outside, building her gardens and stuff like that. And
I love it. I've been seeing
I've got a gym outside under the snow-capped mountains, so I can train out there in the open air.
Nice. Best way to train.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Kman, for your time coming on to the podcast and educating the listeners. I hope you've all learned so much from today's episode, because I've definitely I feel re-inspired. Even though I'm such a positive person myself, I just always feel re-inspired when I talk to amazing people like yourself, Kman. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And next I'm going to get Rowie on the show, and Rowie is
yes, look out.
She'll give you a run for your money.
Hot on the air, Rowie. She's got lots of great stuff.
Oh, so she does. She's incredible.
So do what you say you're going to do, and you'll get what you always wanted.
Oh, absolutely. Boom. And we'll finish on that now.
Thanks for listening to the Power Podcast. I hope you can take something valuable away to implement in your own life. Be sure to tune in to our next episode soon. And if you need further help, check out ptwithrenee.com. You'll find loads more information on nutrition, fitness, and lifestyle tips. Live your best life, and we'll chat soon.